Two. Welcome back to the Biohacks podcast. Today, we've got a very special guest. We're joined by Sam Tingman. He is a soft tissue therapist, and we're going to be talking all things philosophy around soft tissue, around movement, and some of his ideas about about the body. So, Sam, thanks for coming on, buddy.
No worries. Pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it. Do you want to give the guys a bit of background, how you got into your line of work, like how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, of course. I think it kind of stems from A-levels, I think. That was kind of where it kicked off, studying sports science, and they kind of introduced some very fundamental parts of soft tissue therapy, more sports massage stuff. And, they took us through weeks of that. And I guess at the time I was like, no way am I doing this. This is just too much. As in like just working manually. And then just finding myself 10 years down the line, still, doing it as a career. And, it's funny. But that's how kind of, I think it kind of some kind of flame of it, working with people and working with a body.
Did you ever, what sports did you play when you were younger?
I did athletics.
Okay.
So I did high jump. Yeah, I did football at the beginning, I think like any other kid did. And but I've really got into athletics, and I absolutely loved the sport. Still do.
I didn't realise you were into athletics.
Well, I used to live in Southampton at the time. So that was the club that I was part of. So trying to get into the kind of county level and stuff like that. I was shy off it, but yeah, high jump it's a fun event. I enjoy it.
Also, I guess I was going to say, being an athlete, I guess the athletes are renowned for obviously like how well they look after their bodies, and like I think it teaches you some really great. Coming from a rugby background, and I look at the conditioning that we used to do, and I like slightly envious of anybody who was like an athlete or their parents made them athletes from that kind of young age, because you guys get in such good shape, such good condition, and it teaches you all like great principles. Whereas I think in rugby, it's just like get bigger, push weights.
Smash.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's changed a lot, but anyway, sorry, we digress. But so you kind of got a bit of a flame for soft tissue therapy. So where did you end up doing your studies? And
so in 2014, 15, I just kind of looked around and I was like, oh, maybe be something to get involved in. Having moved to London, and I found a school. It's a personal training school, but they did sports massage called Premier, which was fine. Did it for maybe just like shy of a year, I think, and started working at a local clinic in Hackney. 6 months, kind of. I don't know. I think I had mixed feelings for it, but I knew I wanted to work again with people and kind of hands-on. And I just didn't feel I had enough knowledge. So I went to North London School of Sports Massage, which is a fantastic place if you want to get involved in soft tissue therapy. And I studied there for another year and a half. And that led on to various of doors opening up for me within sports.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's kind of like, so you've been back to training twice. You didn't feel like you were quite ready, and I guess you were education, then into the field, then you've gone back into education, and then straight back into the field. If I've understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the opportunities that opened up for you?
So it was within working in professional sports.
Yeah.
And that's when I started working at Crystal Palace through internship. And
football club, right?
Yeah, with the first team. And then I also did some pre-season stuff with Ealing Trail Finders, rugby, which was also a great opportunity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer working with, rugby or football?
They have different pros. No. I won't. But I think the rugby lads, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, as you know, coming from a rugby background. Mm. But I think the football side of it is I don't know. I personally preferred football, only because, I mean, grown up in Sweden, you don't learn about rugby.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
actually.
yeah, but I think is the point in it was that I wanted to work with professional athletes. I think that's where my passion comes into. It doesn't matter which kind of sport it lies with.
Interesting.
So
okay. Let's delve in on let's go into the so like what you do on on a day-to-day basis. What say you're in with Palace.
yeah.
What does that look like? What does the day look like?
Yeah, so usually you come in. We started at us guys started at 8:30. I'd come in earlier. You have kind of duties to do before the players come in. Restacking kind of your tapes and all the kind of stuff that you need during the day. Just seeing if everything needs to be kind of liaised with the kind of more of the medical staff. You sort all the beds out, you get all the towels in, you kind of do like the nitty gritty stuff. I feel
admin stuff, I guess.
Yeah, which is is part of it. I think as a soft tissue therapist, you try and make the easiest for the athletes. And then the guys would come in probably about, I'd say maybe like 9:30, around that time. I think they start trickling in, and then your treatments, they kind of pick you up and you kind of start treatments and be diligent with time, because by 10:30 at the time they go in for prehab. So you kind of had a nice window of treating.
Okay. And so you're in 8:30. The guys, the players will start trickling in. How many players would you see on a daily basis? Say like a normal training day.
Yeah. So when I would be in, you might, like beforehand, you might see like 2 to 3, depending on
And just you spend an hour with each one.
No, it'd be less. You might be looking at maybe 20 minutes or so, depending. Yeah, it all depends.
Okay. And so that's all before. This is all before lunch, right? I guess.
Yeah, this is like in the morning. Yeah, in the morning time before they go out.
And then what do they have? Right. They have like a morning session and an afternoon session. Is that how the day's set up? Or?
So I wasn't too involved in how the kind of structured would lay out for them.
But so you're seeing them prior to them going out to do their conditioning and training.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. You kind of, depending on what day it was, you kind of flush them through, or whatever kind of work they felt they needed, you facilitate that before they went into the bits and bobs and then training.
Okay, fine. And I guess so they've obviously got different things they need on different days. So like, is like Monday, like, would it be, I guess, your week's based around when they play, I guess, isn't it? Like, so what you're doing with them depending on when they play, or?
Yeah, so more of the full-time stuff, because I work there part-time, 3 days a week. It all very, I think every week what I got the sense of would change.
Oh, interesting.
So you had days off, maybe on a Monday or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what kind of so let's go into like what the commonalities that you'll see with the footballers, like, so what type of stuff are they having done? Is it calves? Is it legs? Is it upper body? Like, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys that I was treating were, quads, your usual hamstrings, calves, a bit of lower back.
Yeah.
That was kind of the main causes, not causes, but like the kind of main parts that you treat. Adductors, hips.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
No, I was going to go on. What were you going to say?
No, I was just.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought you were going to say, because sometimes you have to, like, people have a second thought about what they were going to say. So
no.
That's okay. Interesting. And in terms of like, so you've seen them in the morning. Did they come back in? Do they get work done again later on in the day, or is it just
completely lost you here?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Sorry, I was just saying, so you see them in the morning. Do they get more treatment done later on in the day, or?
Yeah, so after training, so they might be coming after lunch, and you treat them through there. Just some like very gentle kind of recovery stuff.
Yeah.
So recovery kind of flushes, or you might do dry needling, stuff like that to do after the sessions.
Yeah.
Just kind of relax and kind of get them back to kind of base level.
Yeah, definitely. Because I guess obviously the more you optimize their recovery, obviously the better it is for them. Obviously, I guess when your training builds up over time, I guess it's like you're trying to optimize them from session to session. And I guess you're trying to get them back ready for the next session. So no, that's
exactly.
Interesting. Well, do they normally train twice a day, or is it just they have one session in the morning? Or
it seems to be it's all one session a day.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And so let's go into this. It's quite insightful, actually. Let's go into some of your philosophy and kind of like what your feelings are around the body and movement, and how soft tissue therapy can help optimize performance. Do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on kind of like what your thoughts are on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess philosophy. I love movement, and I think movement has a big part to play in kind of educating body awareness, and soft tissue therapy can help with that greatly. I've been working a lot with Pilates at the moment, and that has gone to show be a massive help in to see my patients' recovery and kind of get back from injuries, for example. So that's at the moment is quite a big one for me, and I use it a lot in my treatments. Probably about 50-50.
Interesting.
Yeah. So but I do. I mean, soft tissue therapy is a fantastic tool to get the body back and recover. But I do personally believe that movement, on my side, Pilates is a fantastic tool.
Brilliant. Yeah. And just on a question on that, so out of the people that you see, would you say what percentage of your work is bringing people back from injury, and what percentage is taking people and optimizing their performance, if you know what I mean? So kind of like one's bringing them back and one's pushing them on, type of thing. What would you say is like the percentage split?
I think it's 50-50, to be honest.
That's interesting.
Yeah, in clinic, I worked a lot with cyclists, a lot with triathletes. So that was, optimizing performance and, getting them somewhere if it's better time, but if it's just recovery. And then with the kind of injury side of things, you'll be referrals from physios or osteos. That would kind of do the immediate kind of assessment. I would then assess as well, do my own assessments. Not saying that they had anything wrong with the first assessment, just protocol, and then
definitely,
and you work together on that and get them to where they want to be, but also where you want them to be, which is better where they left off.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it's like, with the people that come in, I guess within all situations, you're obviously trying to help people, but obviously I guess the outcome, I guess maybe the outcome isn't actually that different, but I guess obviously if somebody's coming to you and they've got a very particular problem, and do you see crossover? Do you see people that come in with injuries? So like 50% of people that come in with injuries, do you end up kind of keeping them on? And then, because obviously the benefits that you've obviously helped them cure their injury. So then does that lead on to other things? I
mean, I always, I think, you don't want to see them too often after you've seen them for a specific reason. So, for soft tissue therapy, I always recommend them coming in once a month or every 2 weeks, just to kind of get maintenance work. But you have to kind of convince them to do it.
Yeah.
Not convince them, but
then you kind of helping them realize how good it is and how important it is for them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think invest in your body is it's the best thing you can possibly do, and if you spend, I don't know, X amount on a treatment instead of maybe boozing, you know, a couple
Yeah,
of times a weekend. Do you know what I mean? You weigh it up.
Yeah.
It might be not as fun, but you weigh it up.
It's investment in yourself, just in a different form, I guess, isn't it? So
Exactly. You know, that is it. You know, it's far more than important.
and so tell us about Pilates. Like, where's the love from that? Is that a recent thing that's been like a new kind of tool in your toolkit that you've added in, or?
It's always, for me, it's always kind of been in the background to learn more and to do it. I think it stemmed from, I came off my bike good few years ago, my bicycle, and I got a hairline fracture down on the side of my thigh. And Pilates really helped with that, to get back to, and I think from that onwards, I then started to delve more into it and wanted to learn more. But I mean, it helps if your fiance is a Pilates teacher, so it helps as well. So I think she inspired a lot of it as well.
Interesting. And I guess the whole idea, from what I've my limited understanding of Pilates, is this idea of kind of being stronger through the center and through the trunk, and being balanced, and obviously gives you a strong place to work from. And I guess there's a lot of athletes out there that could really benefit from understanding. Obviously, the trunk is obviously the central part where all our power generation comes from. And I guess what you've really tapped into is this idea that obviously you've had your injury, but then you've then used it as a medium or a method to basically enhance your body and take your body to that next level of performance. And I guess it's that.
Yeah. I mean, they used to call that core the Powerhouse back in the day in the Pilates kind of literature. And I love that, you know, that is your powerhouse. You know, if that is somewhat off, you know, you're going to get different kind of mechanical issues.
Definitely. And so when you see clients now, obviously they come and see you for particular, obviously either soft tissue work, but are you getting people off the bed? Are you getting people into, like you said about movement, and we're going to delve into that in a minute, but I guess your focus now is, like, how much of your focus is getting people off the bed and getting them into the Pilates, or is it a balance? Or
I want them to come off the bed as much as possible, for them to really understand what we're trying to do with them. You know, get them to understand their body. I think it's very important. You know, you can lay on the bed for an hour and, you know, it'll be great, you know, but it will only be for a short amount of time until that niggle or whatever it may be start trickling back in. So 100%. I think for them to get off the bed, learn, you know, rehabilitation is what you demonstrate, and then for them to do at home. So that's what we try and do.
I think it's really great what you're alluding to, this idea that it's not just about the acute fix. It's like trying to make change in the body chronic. You're trying to make change consistent, and you're trying to make it so that it lasts. And I guess the therapy and stuff is fine for an acute effect, and obviously that can build up over time. But to make a change for someone, they have to change the underlying root cause of the problem, I guess. And I guess that's what you're delving into.
Yeah, like re-educating your system, really. And
I like that.
You kind of want to do it longevity. You want them to have a good longevity of movement, I guess you can call it. Or
definitely.
You know. So yeah, it's a great one to get involved in.
Really respect. So in terms of movement, like, so we've spoken a little bit about obviously soft tissue therapy. You've obviously got this new area that you're looking to kind of expand. Obviously, it's always been there, but you're obviously expanding into now with the Pilates. But teaching people to move better, I guess this is a little bit of a theme we've kind of got running here, is that something that everybody could really benefit from, I guess, because people obviously have sedentary desk jobs a lot more nowadays. And like you're seeing the rise in things like functional fitness. I had a functional fitness athlete talking on here the other week. It was just super interesting. And it's, I guess there is this seems to be a bit of a trend at the minute, and a kind of a movement more towards, I guess, bodybuilding style training. Back in the day was obviously popular, and now it seems to be opening up. Obviously people want things that actually really benefit them. And I guess what you're tapping into here and your ideas and methodologies are kind of becoming more prevalent, I guess. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like that kind of functional way of moving, is, bringing it back to basics, really. How we were as, maybe not as intense, but, we want to be as functional to where we, you look at babies, for example, they're very, they sit easily in a squat, or, they, the way they roll and to get up is very primal, and, and we've lost that completely as adults,
Very
or as
innate,
grown-ups.
very innate, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
very much so. And, so I think it's just educating to kind of learn more of that.
rebalancing. I like what you said about re-education. I think that's a really great. I think it's a good term to use. I should use that more often. Actually, it's about like you've already learned. No, it is a good. It is a good term to use. It's like it's just like you've been taught something once, but then you might need to be retaught it, and you might need to be rethink the way that you're doing it. I guess I always say this to people, that health and performance is never a static place. It's a fluid, dynamic process. It's always changing. We're always looking to improve, and even people that have been looking to, like, you go through periods where there's periods in life where you don't kind of like, you fall off the bandwagon, and it's sometimes about getting back on and kind of relearning and looking at things in a different way. I think is super important. So that's great.
I agree.
It's very, 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 very insightful. What's the kind of future like? What's your plans kind of going forwards? Obviously, we've been in a bit of a crazy time with COVID. Like, what's kind of going on? What's your plan with movement and soft tissue and your performance sport? Like, what's the kind of future hold for you?
It's all. I mean, like, it's all up in the air at the moment, even with the clinical side of things. So it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say, but ideally, want to get back into sports, working with professional athletes.
Is that in football, or is that?
Yeah, no, it's in football. I've really enjoyed working in that kind of sector. So yeah, I'm very keen to get back in there and see what happens, really. But obviously the whole COVID thing is, it's a shame it happened, but you kind of have to bounce back up and kind of take it as a positive, and kind of, I guess, realign your kind of goals.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess you're always looking to educate and improve. So obviously something very consistent I've seen with you so far is your willingness to learn, willingness to practice, willingness to delve in. I guess it's all education in just in different forms.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think I loved working in sports so much, because you are surrounded by some of the best, physiotherapists and, chiropractors, or, practitioners. So it brings such a depth of knowledge, and being a sponge, like I like to be, you just got to put yourself in there. And I think that's why I like being in a sports kind of environment.
Yeah, well, respect. And I guess athletes are pushing them at the top of the game, especially even in football, right? They're pushing themselves to their limits. And I guess they are the peak, the pinnacle of kind of like the physical human kind of body, right? I guess they're the pinnacle of that. And I guess by working with them, I guess you're having to help them optimize their system so that they can perform at that level. And I guess there's no better learning than doing it with the best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then you kind of, I guess, can you say feed off them, but you want to then be the best you can be in your own field to be able to then treat some of the best, I guess.
Definitely,
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. And would and is it? Do you want to stay with Palace, or are you looking to? Is there another London team you want to end up?
We'll say no, mate. To be honest, Palace has been fantastic to me. So we'll see if the opening comes back up, and we'll
work your way up from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no to any team. So team environment is a good one to be in, and that's where I think I'll stick.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm going to look to probably wrap up because I don't take too much more of your time, but we'll obviously get you back on at some point in the future and we can delve into you've brought up some really interesting points. So it'd be good to kind of maybe
Yeah,
get
sure.
in a bit more depth on those kind of at a later date. If people want to get more information about the work that you do, obviously we can drop a link in the description section below, but where can they get hold of you? Do you have a website or is it social media or?
It's on the best place is probably Purus Active Health, the osteopathy clinic that I'm part of, and just get involved there.
Brilliant. Yeah, we'll drop a link in the description section below. Guys, if you found the video helpful, then smash the like button for us and remember to subscribe. So when we get Sam back on in the future, we can talk about some more in-depth issues around movement and performance, then you won't miss out on that. So Sam, I really appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Mate, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
You too, mate.